is laying the foundation of the new banking framework. And guess what? They want the price of XRP to rise. This IMF document validates the viewpoints of Ripple by saying they are among the very few new players who is challenging the established payment infrastructure. Now, while looking at that, you really have to understand that is a strong statement from IMF. And when you come into Ripple's website, this kind of shows me the direction where XRP price would actually go. Why? In this website, they actually say financial network of the future. Now, yes, that is something related to the article which we just represented. Now, in the same, you are looking at IOV, which is Internet of Value, and XRP. Now, here, if you look, you can see that XRP is shown in that network along with USD, Euro, Indian rupees. So they are actually highlighting there is something happening in the background, but they are not announcing anything. So personally, I'm looking forward to see huge announcements, but who knows when the NDAs, the non-disclosure agreements, will expire and they will announce stuffs. We don't actually understand that, right? But looking at the market, which is being targeted by Ripple, the question of how much will XRP be worth is kind of, a lot to consider. If you are to calculate something to get an idea about, it's a lot to do. Now, this is an old article, but it actually covers a lot of the stuffs which we have to look at, like the entire payments market, say the chips transfers like 400 trillion, Fed wire transfers 900 trillion, Swift itself is 1.25 quadrillion, and rest of the other markets. And then it kind of shows you the calculations from around $90 XRP, towards about $1,000 XRP, in between like $220 XRP, $600 XRP. If you go through the article, you understand those kind of perspectives well. Now, let us see what are the odds for the adoption of XRP and its future price probabilities. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to get extra value, then you can use the Patreon and PayPal given in the description below. If you would like to support the channel, you can use all of those links, including the XRP wallet address. Now, let's see what are the important tasks which we have to concentrate first to understand how much the XRP will be worth in the future. Because for that, we'll have to look at the adoption rate of XRP, how many institutions are using it, and what we can expect in the near future. So with that being said, we can first look at the technical aspects. Now, for those who state, technicals don't actually work, it's just, some guesswork, blah, 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 whatever, it's completely up to you. I would actually like to show you two charts. One is, say, VeChain, and which I created back in September 23rd, and I put this one in our Patreon group for those guys who actually asked about this particular asset. And now if you actually look at this, you can see the price went at the point where we were expecting it to, because when I posted this one even in the Patreon, the guys were kind of like, oh no, I don't think it was going to drop from this particular level because it's already at that support area. But for me, this is a support zone, right? It's not just support line, it is a support resistance zone for me. So the price can actually come back towards this first point, second point, because it had previous resistance there, and that's why I plotted around 11%. And what the price did, it came to that area or wicked even a little bit below that. So if you are someone who stay against technical analysis, now that's completely up to you. Now we'll just take 1 or 2 minutes to look at different charts for the technical analysis here. Now this is XRP on a daily, and looking at this, now I know it's not neat enough, and sorry for that. If you are looking at this particular pattern, we are looking at a 15% rise after we break to the upside, because it really looks like we are going to break today or tomorrow from this pattern to the upside. Now that bulls are in control, we can guarantee that it may be going towards 0.3 in the near future, say in a week or so. Now with that being said, you have to understand the entire market structure. from the all-time highs to the downside, and as of now is changing a lot. If you're looking at the highs here, these were actually being reduced, say lower highs, until this particular point. You can see that it changed. It was lower high till here, and then it changed. A new high was created here. So the trend actually changed there, and then it started consolidating. If you look at that way, say it is coming from the top to the bottom here, and then it starts consolidating in that area. But within that consolidation in this particular area, it is creating higher high in this one, and then higher low compared to this one, and again an higher low. So what it looks like is that if we make a 0.3 and move towards high in this particular support resistance area, which is valid for 850 days, it kind of gives us a new higher high there, and that kind of gives you a 3 higher high point on the top and the bottom 3 higher low points. So that connects a new channel of bulls. So that would be really important to look at. Now if you are looking at the price in different aspects, now you can look at this is an area where we broke below that, and then we retested it and failed. So if you are considering this, then you can jump into this kind of a format in which you are looking at a cup and handle. Now that doesn't actually change much because the patterns are different. It depends upon what your skill is. You can either go through a head and shoulder pattern in the same chart. You can either get a cup and handle or a rounded bottom, because these are all something similar towards that rounded bottom patterns, right? Here what we are looking at is a rounded bottom. We previously highlighted there was a chance that the price may come here and then bounce to the upside. And if you are looking at this one, it's also looking same, right? So if you are talking about head and shoulder, then it would be, say this is the first shoulder, then the head here, and then the second shoulder. Now that's not yet confirmed yet. As we move towards 0.3, like we discussed here, then it would be confirmed. But as we break above that 0.3435 range, we would be soon going towards 0.6, 0.7 area. Now that's kind of the small area target, right? So if we look at the general XRP chart in a shorter time frame, say this was what we were actually looking at when we were back there around 0.225 and 0.424. I actually put this one out in the Patreon group for those guys who are actually trading XRP on a shorter time frame, what we expect in the near future. But the time actually got extended. We haven't actually reached 0.26 to 0.28 range by now. But yeah, we actually went and touched that area once, but we haven't closed behind that. So the time can actually vary, but the price points will be something similar. Now let's jump into the technical side, which we completed with the fundamentals. Now what you have to understand is that there is a lot happening with XRP, Ripple, the company and all, but we were actually talking about how much XRP will be worth one day, right? XRP worth more than you think is kind of the topic which I really want to express here. Now, why do I really talk about that? Because in investing, there is a lot of things to consider. And here, I would like to show you some interesting aspects from central banks. This is the Central Bank of Japan talking about their fiat, digital fiat, which is going to come out soon. They're going to trial that soon. So that's not just one central bank stating that. Now you can see European Central Bank. Now Christine Lagarde, it's not just IMF. When she's there, it's all about a new central bank which she's heading, right? So in that one, she's talking about a digital euro. So that's another central bank. Then you look at Bank of England, you can see they are also working on new payments corridor, new central bank digital currency, and they are partnered with Accenture for doing that. And if you look back at that and then look at United States, you can see something else here. They are also working on a digital dollar project. And when you enter into that digital project and go down, you can see Accenture there. So it's Bank of England working with Accenture, Bank of America working on a digital dollar project. They are working with Accenture, and guess what? Accenture is working with Ripple, the company, and we went through ton of Accenture's document, research publication, the future probabilities which they analyzed, their researchers put out, and we went through all of them and understood they are high on XRP ledger, right? RIPPLENET leading towards ILP and then connecting it with the XRP ledger. So if XRP ledger is involved, that definitely means XRP is involved. Now, in that digital dollar project, if you go through just some of the aspects, say they are looking at some pilot programs, precisely say 7 pilot programs, in which what are the real issues they are concentrating on. If you look at these bullet points, you'll understand they are looking at a tokenized economy, tokenized assets. Why? Making it a true bearer instrument, because if it is tokenized, you can do it like a digital asset, like a token, right? Then CBDC is issued by Federal Reserve, so they can actually get that control. Now, talking about control, there's a lot behind it. If you are ready to read through that, then yeah, you can get in touch with me personally, then we'll talk about that. But now it's not the time for that. So then we look at distributed through the existing 2-tier banking system and regulated intermediaries. Now, while that being stated, what you have to understand is RIPPLENET, or Ripple the company, is created for banks and financial institutions. In last couple of videos, we showed you documents directly from IMF, World Bank and all, talking that RIPPLENET is positioned in a way that that infrastructure is useful for banks and financial institutions. So what is being stated here? It will be distributed through the existing 2-tier banking system and regulated intermediaries. So Ripple the company has a huge role to play, and the tokenized assets need to move into central bank digital currency and vice versa within the domestic economy. And then you consider the range of aspects which we talked here in this news, which is like the cross-border payments, a huge market. So considering both of that, the requirement for price of XRP being huge is high, because we only have 100 billion supply. Yes, I said only 100 billion supply in a total time period until it is released in full. Right now the circulating supply is so low, but why should the price of XRP go sky high in recent times, or at least in this near future? Because we all know that there will only be 100 billion XRP, and you will be anticipating that. But right now, it's way lower than that. It's kind of 50% of that. So the circulating supply is only 50% of that, and the priced in aspect for XRP would be for the total 100 billion. Why? Because these are what we are looking at, the new architecture of finance. And it's not just one government looking at it, right? Say huge governments like huge central banks like BOE, then Fed, then Bank of Japan. Everyone is high on this one. Now, why is it kind of a time where you should be investing with, that idea or a mentality of an investor? I would actually play this short video which will give you that kind of an edge to think like an investor.
Waiting 8 or 9 months to catch my next big investment. But it's all about patience. I say it's like the big wave surfer. Big wave surfers will wait for months and months and months for that big storm to come. And they're waiting, they're plotting, and they're very patient, and they travel wherever it is around the world to take that next big wave. Well, I invest the same way. It could be September of 2013 before I make my next big investment. You have to be patient. In the interim, I'm just going to continue to live my life, read lots of
That's something worth noting. It's being repeated again and again and again, saying patience is what you need to become a smart, intelligent investor. But it's easier said but not executed well. Why? Because we are all human beings with emotions, and our psychology, when tied up with money, gets really bad, right? Now, let's look at what Brad Garlinghouse is stating here, and with all of that we just stated here, looking at this number of tweets connected here, it really gives you the idea where we are all going. Now, Ripple, the team, was getting aggressive towards regulators because they've been, everyone has that patience. They've been working with regulators from way back. If you look at the history of Ripple, the company, back in 2013, 2014, 2015, you can see them working with, say, New Zealand, Australia, and various different governments like Canada and all, with those central banks from those countries from last 5-6 years. Now, they all understand this technology is revolutionary, but the only thing keeping them back was the regulations. And here, when we all understand there are a set of regulations coming out, Brad states, It is there, but you know, it is like 8 separate regulatory bodies coming out and each stating it separately. Crypto is a property, crypto is a commodity, crypto is a virtual currency, crypto is a security, blah blah blah. So what are you guys actually doing? That's an easy question to ask, right? You're getting paid, but you're not doing your work properly. How can you buy a car and say this is this asset, this is that type of asset, this is this type of asset? Come on, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because now in different nations, say look at Japan, they are considering it as a digital asset. They are not saying it cryptocurrency, they are saying it as crypto assets or digital assets. And if you look at Ripple's website and go check them looking at the on-demand liquidities availability, you can see Japan there. And then look at how the Japan's project of central bank digital currency is evolving. That kind of gives you the edge that yes, they may be moving to different regions. Yeah, it is possible, but where would be they jumping towards? You really have to look at that. I'll personally say that it would be some area where they already have that RippleNet enabled and they have that on-demand liquidity going, you know, in now. That means the announcement is not yet made, but they've been experimenting with that, trialing with that, or whatever you say, or at least they've been doing that at a low volume. Now, the reason for that is they are targeting on a low volume, high frequency payments now. Then, if you read through this, what you understand is there's a lot of speculation what Team Ripple is going to do. I'm not going to say they are going to go Singapore, they're going to go Japan, but you really have to look at all different possibilities. Ripple is a proud US-based company and Ripple abides by and supports critical laws like strong BSA, AML, you know, all of those stuff which we already understand. But the problem here is there is no single regulatory clarity there for XRP or any other crypto. Because XRP being a utility asset, which you can say because of the use case, and if you look here, they actually put out like they are enabling fast, free, instant settlement across digital fiats and digital currencies. And at the bottom, someone asked, are you using XRP? And they responded like, we support XRP for trading and settlement. But as of now, they are still using the old network to settle the current transaction. That means they are using pre-funded accounts. If you can come down here and see the response, we are using fiat. For fiat are pre-funded through our business account. So they are still relying on that historical, you know, decades old system, which is nostro vostro pre-funded capital, dormant capital. You can call anything there. It's just pushing the companies to a corner in this pandemic, because if you look at the economy and understand what really is happening around you, you can see that. Because in the other side of the economy, it's really going like this. They are going with a new security token offering. They are going digital. New platforms are coming up. Just central banks and regulators need to catch up with all of this. But you have to understand, once they give green light, the bulls will be so strong. But until that time, it will just be, you know, the normal guys, retail investors looking at the market cycle. But that being said, you really have to look at the long perspective about while talking about the market cycle. Why? Because the market cycle of XRP looks like it is going to turn to the upside. And yes, you really have to understand, when we look at the upside for an asset which already has corrected 90-95%, you should be really careful if you are shorting the market, because it's going to turn to the upside. And with that being said, keep in mind, if you just take a curve and look at how market is moving now and then look at the rounded bottoms in reversal, it usually gets parabolic. So if the price goes sky high like here, from here, say blasting through that 0.3, 0.5 towards 0.6, 0.7 area, making a huge bullish candle there in say 2 or 3 days, kind of say 15% one day, another 10-20% another day, it can happen, because it has happened in the past too, right? Because for markets, we always look at historic moments. And that's why when we talk about how much XRP would be worth, it really gets interesting, right? Because when you look at the entire market for just cross-border payments, it looks like a huge 9.8 trillion transaction each day. And to get up to that one, you really have to understand they are considering a lot of different aspects here towards taking XRP above $1,000. But for me, if I look at that, I'll personally say I will exclude a lot of things from that in the general calculation, which is say the high value payments, because as of now, Ripple, the company, is promoting ODL more like a solution for low value, high frequency payments. So for me, I would state yes, the $100 target or say 3-digit target is still relevant. Say 100 towards $200 is still relevant, but something like $600 in next market cycle is kind of too much to say. But we never know what's really going to happen, because if 1 or 2 central banks comes out and states that okay, we are going to agree on this particular neutral bridge asset, then yes, it may go that high. Investors would be like mad and getting in like a FOMO is happening in just this particular asset, taking out profit from a lot of other assets which already went 10, 100,000% up in last 1 or 2 years. So that still can happen. But based on a rational thinking as an investor, you can say that from this point, if you are looking at 3 pumps like in the past, then yes, the all-time highs would be the first landing, and then based on the averages or history, yes, it can go towards a 3-digit XRP. So if someone asks you how much XRP will be worth one day, now you have an idea about how it would be looking at the current price. Because if you're looking at a stock of 0.25 value in 0.25 and then talking about $1,000, they will say yeah after 1,000 years. But in crypto market, it's not like that. We already saw how this market behaves, right? So in that aspect, even if you are looking at not the $1,000, just the $100, now I say just the $100, because majority are talking about $1,000 XRP or $10,000 XRP. But looking at one or next market cycle, we can say yes, it is possible to reach 3-digit XRP. I'm not sure about a 4 or 5-digit XRP in the next market cycle, but if you are here waiting for the next 5, 10, 15 years, it can be possible. But we don't know how things will evolve, right? There can be quantum computing coming out in the next 8 to 10 years. We don't know. So till that time, until that kind of becomes the common thing, this technology is revolutionary. It's going to stay here and change the entire finance as we know. So guys, if you saw value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to extend your support, you can use that Patreon, PayPal or XRP wallet address given in the description to support the channel. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.